Well, a top U.S. official says Washington is planning to accelerate the deployment of an advanced missile system in South Korea. The Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia said the United States intends to speed up the deployment of the THAAD missile system amid concerns over North Korea's missile tests. Daniel Russell was speaking during a congressional hearing on Tuesday. He did not give the exact timing of the deployment, but called it a, quote, done deal. Last week, Russell had warned the deployment cannot be part of talks on new UN sanctions on North Korea. The planned deployment of THAAD has already triggered nationwide protests in South Korea. Russia and China have also voiced concern, saying the U.S. missile system would jeopardize security on the Korean peninsula, where tension is already running high. I'd like to welcome to the program radio host and political commentator, Mr. Max Igan. Thank you so much for being with us. Your take on exactly what is going on with the accelerated deployment now of this advanced missile system to South Korea by the U.S.?
Well, it's just about escalating the tension in the area. I mean, that's what the United States does. You know, it goes and finds anybody who's putting missiles anywhere, anybody who's looking to defend themselves, and it goes and puts missiles around the place. It also wants to, of course, surround China, which is another thing, and surround Iran. I mean, it does this. This is what the United States does, you know, like it goes out there and it shows concern for people putting missile systems around the place, but the only reason they're putting missile systems around the place is out of concern for the United States putting missile systems all around the world. I mean, this is just the way the United States plays things. I don't know how anybody can believe anything that comes out of the mouth of any of the propagandists of this country anymore. I mean, it's just like they're making up excuses to pour weapons into places where they see that there might be a buck to be made and they might be able to escalate some more tension. I mean, that's just typical of the United States to do this and to play it the way they have.
Well, how dangerous is this escalation, especially being right next to North Korea? Do you think, you just mentioned that the United States look at profits, look at making a buck, and that's why they do what they do, but do you think that they look at the possible repercussions like war? Do they care?
Well, they like war. They're a very, very warlike nation. If you look at the amount of wars they've been involved in since World War II, since we formed the United Nations to end all war, all they've done is been creating war, and they've been indulging in war, and they've been pouring weapons into the world. I mean, the main export of the United States is war and weapons. That's just the way it is. No matter how you want to look at it, that's just the way it is. So they like tension. For all the talk that they have that they're trying to bring peace and democracy to the world, I mean, look what they do, peace and democracy. We see democratic governments like Syria. We have the United States come and say they want to replace the government. That's not democracy. You know, what they present to the world is not democracy. And they've been destabilising the world ever since World War II, and people need to wake up to it. I mean, all this is going to do is escalate tension. It's threatening China, it's threatening Iran, it's threatening North Korea. It's just going in and poking their nose into other people's business and keeping the arms sales going and pouring weapons into everywhere they can and impoverishing the people of the United States while they're doing it, by the way. I mean, the situation on the ground there is absolutely terrible. The people are really, really struggling because all of the money is being poured out into war and into weapons for foreign interests.
Thank you so much for being with us out of Pucallpa, Peru. Max Igan, radio host and political commentator.